it's Gwyn and welcome back to the Revolver Beatles Channel. And so it begins. The anthology season is now well underway and we're going to kick off this video having a look at this. The Anthology Collection vinyl box set, restored, expanded and boxed, including new music, new mixes and a whole bunch of archival treasure for us to feast upon. So for my sins, I invested in the limited edition box set, including these lithographic prints which are included. Very nice, beautiful shots, suitable for framing as they say, but as to whether or not it was worth the extra cost for them, which I think was about 15 or 20 quid, well, the jury's out. In terms of numbering, I've got number 236, which is a decent enough low number. My initial thoughts are that the box set is really well packaged, as you'd like to expect from a major box set production. Sturdy, high quality print and finishing, and the discs themselves are really very good. Sitting very flush and flat against the platter, no visible scratches, and I have to say, having played them all the discs now, there's not been a single hop, skip or a jump at all. This, however, should be the baseline for any fans' expectations. After all, it's all about the music. So for anyone who needs a two-line refresher, Anthology began in the 1990s as a massive project undertaken by the Beatles, a documentary series, a multi-disc set and a coffee table book that gathered together interviews, demos, outtakes and previously unheard bits of the Beatles' history as told by the Beatles themselves. It was a landmark release then, and Apple have decided 1995 deserved a glow-up. So fast forward to 2025 and the whole anthology project has been restored and expanded into a new collection across multiple formats. It's been time to tie in with a remastered anthology documentary series, which is hitting Disney Plus later this week. And it also includes a brand new episode featuring Paul, George and Ringo and the recording sessions that they undertook for Free as a Bird and Real Love. The Anthology collection is out now, and Anthology 4 is the new piece of the puzzle, the one that's been keeping us fans excited and in some corners a little argumentative. Here's the nuts and bolts. The Anthology collection in this 2025 edition spans 4 volumes across vinyl, CD and digital formats. The complete set runs to 191 tracks in total and comes in deluxe physical packages. The new Anthology 4 was released as part of this set on Friday the 21st of November 2025, and it is available individually as a 3LP set too. So yes, you can buy just the new stuff or go full collector like me and rearrange all your shelves so that you've got space for it. It took bloody ages to do, by the way. Anthology 4 is being promoted as containing both restored archival material and some fresh treats, 13 previously unreleased demos and session outtakes, plus newly remixed versions of the Anthology singles, Free as a Bird and Real Love. These have been remixed by Jeff Lynne this year using the modern demixing techniques as introduced by Peter Jackson's Wingnut Productions. The 2023 Now and Then song makes an appearance too, rounding off the Beatles' later posthumous work into this collection as a set. Anthology 4, it is an interesting beast. On paper, it collects outtakes and demos dating from 1963 to 1969, alongside the 1995-96 singles that we were just discussing. It's both deeply archival and oddly contemporary because of the recent remixes of Free as a Bird and Real Love, plus Now and Then. Some highlights for me particularly are Take 2 of I Saw Her Standing There, which has got fabulous energy about it and is taken from the Beatles' bootleg 1963 album. I Need You is another great track, and I love the working version of this by George. I've Just Seen a Face with a Lonnie Donegan reference to the skiffly rhythm of the track. In My Life, which is a superb version. and Baby You're a Rich Man, a real top drawer alternate version which I loved, and some interesting pre-play chatter by John and Paul. Then there's also the All You Need Is Love, the BBC rehearsal version, which is really interesting too. The curation of the package was led, of course, by Giles Martin, who's been central to so many of the Beatles' recent restorations. What do you think of the revised versions of Free as a Bird and Real Love, though? I'd be really interested to know, so put your comments down below. I personally enjoyed them as companion pieces, but I guess the original version is really pretty deeply ensconced in my memory now. John's vocals are clearly enhanced, but there is something to be appreciated in the more ethereal versions of the 95 and 96 versions. I guess it's take your pick. So, the new anthology. Why should you care? First, if you're a completist, yes, this is the kind of release that you've been clearing shelf space for, myself included. Anthology 4 makes a big claim because 26 tracks on Anthology 4 had never been released before on vinyl, which for us vinyl fetishists is a small miracle. The music finally gets a tactile, physical home. Secondly, the restored documentary on Disney Plus, remastered with Peter Jackson's production teams and including the special new episode, provides fresh context to this, so the anthology music and the film side by side form a renewed narrative. If you love the original anthology mix of interviews and outtakes, this updated pairing is meant to be consumed together. Okay, the star question is, are the new tracks worth it? Well, Anthology 4 contains 13 previously unreleased recordings, home demos, alternate takes, early live in-studio pieces, and for the hardcore fan, some are genuinely revelatory. They show the band's trial and error and raw seeds of songs that we think we already know. Hearing take 3 of I've Just Seen a Face or an instrumental of She's Leaving Home is like watching the plumber's tape being applied before the polished job. You suddenly appreciate just how many decisions go into the final edit, but it's not all surprise treasures. A number of pieces on Anthology 4 were previously released on super deluxe editions of the studio albums, and that has shaped some of the reaction to this volume too. Not everybody is happy about it. Here's the spicy bit. While many critics and fans celebrate the restoration, some collectors and forum dwellers have been vocal that Anthology 4 relies more heavily on previously issued material than fans had really been hoping for. In other words, for people who shelled out for multiple super deluxe releases over the last decade, Anthology 4 contains material they already have, which makes the idea of buying yet another box set slightly less appealing. There was also the pre-order optics. At first, some outlets pointed out that the only readily available physical pre-order option was the whole box, which irked fans who just wanted the new volume. Fair enough. Apple later clarified availability of Anthology 4 individually, but the launch conversation shows how careful curators must be with huge legacy catalogues, especially the Beatles. And especially when fans expect the previously unreleased to be brand new to everyone. Since Apple announced the release of the new anthology, I have deliberately steered clear of listening to any of the anthology material, and to be honest, it has been a while since I played it anyway. I wanted to listen through all the material as fresh as I could. If you're picking up Anthology 4 or streaming it for the first time or revisiting it as an old friend, here's how you might get the most out of it. First, listen. Context matters. This is a companion piece to the forthcoming documentary after all. It's its own soundtrack. Compare early demos to finished tracks. Listen to the home demos or alternate takes and then queue up the actual release version. See what amazing differences there are between them. The differences show how arrangement, studio techniques and production shape the Beatles' sound. Save the Jeff Lynne remixes for the second play. Free as a Bird and Real Love have been remixed in 2025. Treat them as new interpretations rather than historical artifacts. If you're a vinyl person, savour the unreleased on vinyl moments. Those 26 tracks that are newly pressed do feel special in the sleeve. And remember, archival listening is very different to listening to an original album. You're experiencing the Beatles in their workshop. This is not a polished, perfect, finished article by any means. It is, however, great fun. And who is not mesmerised by listening to the Beatles nattering in the studio? Anthology 4 is an odd one in the Beatles canon. The original trilogy of anthology releases in 95 and 96 were revelations. They reassembled a narrative using outtakes and interviews and gave us Free as a Bird and Real Love as plausible epilogues. Anthology 4, by contrast, arrives decades later in a world where many die-hard fans have already absorbed most of the studio-era rarities from other deluxe editions, so its job is less earth-shattering and more curatorial. It rounds up some stragglers, fills a couple of holes, and offers remixes that reframe the late period story. It's also an act of legacy management. The involvement of Giles Martin and Jeff Lynne shows a conscious effort by Apple to balance historic fidelity with modern listening capabilities. Restore the past, but let it sit comfortably on the shelf beside the contemporary listening formats. In the press, reactions range from enthusiastic, a beautifully restored package that enriches the Beatles story, to disappointed, we expected more brand new vault discoveries. Reviews that position Anthology 4 positively praise the sound restoration and the documentary tie-in. Critics who are less enthused ask why a Volume 4 in 2025 would repurpose material already available in other deluxe releases. Both positions are fair. It depends whether you're a newcomer or a collector with decades of back catalogue. Anthology 4, the collection, gives a broad, restored narrative and some genuinely delightful demos and outtakes that will give you goosebumps. If you're a casual fan, the 1LP or the digital single volume anthology releases are a perfect dip-in experience. If you're a hardcore fan who already owns every super deluxe and imported rarity, Anthology 4 might not be considered essential unless you want to hear the Jeff Lynne 2025 remixes and the convenience of a single curated 3LP. The 26 tracks newly pressed on vinyl may be the clincher for many. Either way, this release keeps the Beatles archive alive and in the news, encourages new listeners to discover the incremental brilliance in alternate takes, and reminds us that even the most documented band can still surprise us. Okay, let's give this a score. I really enjoyed the listening experience. The sound quality was great, the new tracks were absorbing, the packaging was cool, the remix versions of the Three Tool songs were good, but not spectacular. It was nice to journey back those 30 years, but I feel there was something, just something missing from the experience as a whole. So I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5. So there we are, the Beatles Anthology collection, restored for a new generation, with Anthology 4 offering fresh mixes, previously unreleased gems, and a few debates for the forum moderators. If you picked up the set, tell me, what was your favourite surprise track? Did the Jeff Lynne remixes work for you? Is Anthology 4 a must-have or a nice-to-have? If you like this deep dive, hit like, subscribe and ring the bell for notifications of future Beatles content here on the Revolver Beatles channel. So, with the Disney Plus documentary just a few days away, I'll see you all soon. So take care and bye for now.